You know what? A car without gasoline cannot run. I think you know that. Unless it's a Tesla, right? Not talking about electric cars. A gasoline car without its fuel cannot run. And in the same way, a cancer cell without glucose cannot run. It cannot grow. It's so important to understand, everybody, that glucose is the primary fuel that cancer thrives on, grows on, seeks, and uses. It also uses the amino acid glutamine, which we have to have glutamine. It's an essential amino acid that we must have in our body, but cancer prefers, even though it uses that, it prefers lots and lots and lots and lots of glucose. How do they determine if and where you have cancer in the hospital? They actually inject you with a glucose that has a coloring in it. It's a dye. And then you get a scan and the cancer cells go after that glucose. And because it's dyed a certain color, it lights up in the scan and they can see exactly where your cancer is. Now we know, the doctors know that cancer feeds off of glucose because of that injection. The advice is not to stop eating carbohydrates, which turn into sugar. You know, all carbs, starches, grains, potatoes, rice, beans, wheat, corn, that all is starch. That all is a long string of glucose molecules that the enzyme in our mouth and our stomach quickly breaks down into glucose. That's the fuel for all cancer cells. Every single kind of cancer cell in the body has a fuel and it eats glucose. Its cancer ferments off of sugar. Do you know how wine over the time ferments? Do you know how to make beer, they use a fermentation process? Well, our cells respire using oxygen, but when they go crazy and go haywire, instead of respiring, they ferment and they feed off of glucose. So what should we do if we know we've been diagnosed with cancer? What's the answer? Don't feed the cancer glucose. Don't feed it bread. Don't feed it cereal. Don't feed it potatoes or beans or rice or corn or any sugar of any kind, fruit. Don't give your cancer cells an opportunity to metastasize and grow and spread. Seek a therapy that also pulses glutamine. And they have drugs for that you can find. So you can stop the sugar and you can pulse the glutamine. So you need glutamine, but you can stop it at certain times. And you can actually not have cancer growth anymore. Then those cancer cells which are dying or dead or just sitting there, not growing anymore, you and your doctor can use standard of care, very small amount now, to kill off the cancer cells that are still there, like chemotherapy and radiation. But we don't need to do chemotherapy and radiation in such gigantic doses like we're doing today, where people's hair fall out and they're throwing up everywhere and they're frying their brains. Just focus on eliminating its major fuel, which is glucose. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you found this informative. I'm going to share the name of this doctor here in the video, and I want you to do your research. Have a great day.